when we do go live, you'll be able to know exactly where you can start ordering this stuff, because I want to be ready. Because once we get a good following, I want people to be excited about watching these videos and then being able to say, hey man, I really like that shirt. I like what's going on. I like your message. Bam. I want to support that and get a shirt. All right. Or a hoodie or whatever. All right. So the topic, reticular activating system. Now, without getting very scientific and really getting into it too much, if you want to Google, I'm going to try to put a link below. It's just a very simple one, about 4 or 5 minutes, that actually really gives a very simple definition of what the reticular activating system is. But it's a part of the brain. It's just a bundle of brain matter that actually what it does, it's really a filter. Because in my brief reading of it, it says that you're at any given moment, your brain is trying to decipher about 2 million bits of information. And from those 2 million bits of information, your brain is processing about 69,000 to 70 thoughts per day. Think about that. Just how many thoughts are flying through your that actually are a thought produced from these 2 million bits. That is absolutely incredible, that you don't just lose your mind with all that. But here's what that reticular activating system does. It allows you to focus. It starts to narrow that focus down to as small a number as possible on the things that are most important to you. Now, the reticular activating system base its importance on what you're focusing on what your subconscious has told, what your conscious has told your subconscious. So then it's bringing forward what I believe is true, or what I believe is the most important things. Now that's what it's going to focus on. So specifically, think about it. And I've used this quote before. In one hand, you have an obstacle. In the other hand, you have a goal. What grabs your attention? Now that's going to be based on whatever is your conditioning, however you were raised. If you were raised in an environment of scarcity, then what's going to grab your attention is, if you got rent due, the rent being due is going to grab your attention. But if you are raised in an environment of, not scarcity, if the rent's due, you're going to be thinking what you can do to make sure that rent gets paid. Very fine line in how that person is approaching it, but that's how the focus is going to come about, at what you've been conditioned that believe deserves the attention. Does that make sense? So it's narrowing down everything. It's making everything. It's putting it in a line of being targeted, and that's where people have grown to start talking about the law of attraction, which is correct. And the law of attraction, in my opinion, has more to do with faith, because if you believe you're going to do something, and I'm going to go ahead and fast forward on that. In one of my other videos, I talk about what is called the Mitchell Report, because there was a kid in my class in my junior year in high school by the name of Mitchell. He and I both made declarations as to what we wanted to be, which is what we were doing, was creating the law of attraction, and then we were utilizing that brain matter in our reticular activating system. Mitchell said that he wanted to be a doctor. He was going to be a doctor. And I said that I was going to be a professional baseball player. 6 years later, we meet as I'm having surgery on my arm. You want to see the nice little scar right there, which it's healed quite nicely. When I was a professional baseball player, they were about to do surgery on my arm, and Mitchell was one of the interns. And I looked at him and I said, so you're a doctor? And he said, so you're a professional baseball player? Clearly, here we are standing in front of each other and literally laughing and smiling that what we said as juniors in high school, 6 years later, we are actually doing that. Now, I don't know how many people can actually say that they remember directly deciding what they were going to do, and then all of a sudden remembering later on when they reached that goal, connected back to the moment that they made that decision. Okay, now that can translate into